Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Janelle Veronica and I post makeup videos twice a week on Wednesdays and on Saturdays. So if you absolutely love your makeup, make sure that you subscribe and join the family here in Makeup Land. Today's makeup beat is going to be a full coverage beat. I'm going to use the Fenty primer. I'm going to go in with that. I'm also going to use the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r. What is this called? The Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. That's what I'm going to go in with. Going with my Pat McGrath concealer and sprinkling some other products to pull a full face together. For my eyeshadow, I have this nice cute compact eyeshadow palette by Nicka. It's called the Rose Latte eyeshadow palette. It's very small, compact, nothing too complicated. So this is what we're going to use to create the eye look today. So with that intro out of the way, I hope it wasn't too long, I'm going to get to priming and get some makeup on my face. Now, as I said, for primer, I'm going in with my Fenty primer. This is the Pro Filt'r Instant Retouch primer. I'm just going to massage that into the face. This primer is so good. This has your makeup looking so smooth. The complexion is nicely blurred. I like the way how it smells. It has this nice light subtle scent. It is so pleasant. And look how that just blurs the complexion, creates the perfect makeup base. Not too oily, not too greasy or anything on the face. I absolutely love that primer. Alright, so primer has been sinking in for long enough. I'm going to move on to foundation now. For foundation, I'm going in with the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. And I am going in with the shade 440. I'm just going to dot that all over the face. Now this foundation oxidizes, so it goes a little darker. I'm going to go in with my Real Techniques Miracle Sponge and start to pounce that foundation in. Alright, foundation all blended out, and as I said, the foundation oxidizes. So when you put it on at first, it looks like if it's going to be light, but when it dries down a little bit darker. So 440 is the perfect shade for me. I'm going to go in and do some concealing and highlighting. I'm going to use my favorite concealer, which is the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Concealer in the shade MD23. So under the eyes, let me try to conceal these bags. My mustache, I like to conceal my mustache, a little bit on the forehead, down the bridge of my nose, and then a little bit on my chin. Those are the areas that I like to bring brightness to and to conceal on the face. Now I'm going to let my concealer dry down a little bit before I blend it out so that I can get fuller coverage, because we're going for full coverage today. And I'm going to go in with my Black Opal Stick Foundation in Ebony Brown. and use that to contour. So on the cheeks and a little bit around the forehead. I'm going to go in with my BH Cosmetics number 3 brush and start to blend that out, pushing the cheekbones upwards. Working it backwards into the hairline. Alright, contour all blended out. I'm going to switch to my callus sponge and starting at my chin, I'm going to blend that concealer out onto the forehead in nice pattern motions so that I can control exactly where that concealer goes. Down the bridge of my nose. Then onto the under eye. Always make sure that you look up so that you get directly under your lower lash line. Hit the side of your nose as well. Alright, nice. Concealer all blended out. It's time to set. I'm going in. I'm using so much Fenty Beauty today. Sorry about that. It's not sponsored. Wish it was sponsored because I'm like one of the biggest Fenty Beauty fans. I absolutely love the products. This is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r Instant Retouch Setting Powder. And I'm going in with the shade Honey. I'm going to dip my sponge into the powder. Dab the excess off on the back of my hand, then going and really press that powder into set. And I'm setting down all of the areas that I went in with that Pat McGrath concealer with the Fenty powder. Always make sure that you take your time and you really press your powder in so that it's just not sitting on top of the skin and that it sinks in nicely to the concealer and really sets the concealer. So on the forehead, because we highlighted the forehead, I'm going to set down the bridge of my nose where I highlighted as well. And I find with the Fenty powder, you don't need a lot. It's very matte and it sets down nicely. You don't need to go in with too much powder. I find I don't need to bake when I use the Fenty Beauty Instant Retouch powder. It just melts in, sets the concealer down nicely, and that's why it's one of my favorites. Now I'm going to go in and set the rest of my face. I am going in with the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. This is Matte and Poreless. This powder is so good. the matte and poreless pressed powder, and I am going in with the shade 365 Nutmeg. So I'm going in with my sponge first to really press that powder in. Then I'm going with my BH Cosmetics #1 brush to really diffuse, smoothen the skin out. Blend everything together nicely. It's time to bronze, one of my favorite steps. For bronzer, I'm going to use my Juvia's Place bronzer. This is the dark kit, and I use the darker shade for my bronzer. And this is an Ashley Lee P04 brush that I am going in with. So we're just going to warm up the cheekbones. Around the forehead as well. Back in with my powder brush to make sure that everything is nice and seamless. I'm going to go in with the lighter shade from the bronzer and use that to just sculpt my nose out. I like the lighter shade because it's more subtle, and I'm glad that the kit gives you 2 shades that you can choose from, because I like my nose sculpting to be very subtle. You can see it, but it's not too harsh. Alright guys, so I did my brows quickly off camera just to save a little bit of time. I'm not really that fussed about brows anyway. To prime my lids today for the eyeshadow, I went in with my e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer, the matte finish one, in the shade Deep Olive. I always say this, but I like it because it's the matte finish one. It dries down and you don't have to set it with any translucent powder. It is like the perfect eyeshadow base. Absolutely love it. Now I'm going to just jump in. This is the Rose Latte palette from Nicka, and I'm going to start by going in with this plum color in the palette. I think that's so pretty. It's a nice lovely matte shade, and I'm going in with my Morphe M434 brush. I'm just going to use that in my crease and on the outer V of the eye. So I'm just going to start by stamping that in before I do any blending. Building up the color to the intensity that I want. Such a pretty shade. On the outer V, and I'm just dragging it up. I'm just working it from the outer corner of the eye all the way inwards to the inner corner to define the crease. And as I said, I'm just stamping in before I go in and blend the edges, just to soften the edges a little bit. I'm just going to switch the brush around to the clean side and go in and just soften those edges out a little bit. I don't think I need to do too much blending today. Such a pretty color, absolutely stunning. I love a plum colored shade. For my lid, I'm going to work with this pink. It's like a pink glitter shade in the middle of the palette. And I'm going to use that on the lid. Alright, so it's looking more purple, like a purpley pinky shade, but it's applying nicely. Alright, that's stunning. Look at that color. Such a pretty shade. I'm going to go back in with the plum colored shade, the matte that we have in the crease, and I'm going to use that along my lower lash line. I think plum on the lash line is so pretty. On the lower lash line, sorry. Alright, I think that's gorgeous. As I said, a nice, cute, compact eyeshadow palette. Nothing too complicated. 2 shades and the eye look is finished. Let me pop my lashes on and come back and wrap up the rest of my face. For my lashes today, I am going in with the Eyelure London Definition Lash. My favorite lash. It's style number 126 and it's from the Full and Bold range. Alright guys, so lashes are on and these lashes are so cute. Just a nice, simple, not too dramatic, not too overpowering on the face. And as I said, they're the Eyelure London Definition Lash, style 126. It's time for blush. And for my blush today, since we have those nice purples going on the eye, I'm going to go in with a berry colored blush. This is the Revlon powder blush in the shade, what's it? Very Berry. That's the name. And I'm going in on my Real Techniques 400 blush brush. Alright, that blush, so cute. Next, I'm just going to perfect my under eyes. I always do this as a final step for under my eyes. Going in with the Morphe M554 brush, a tapered paddle brush. It is so good for getting directly underneath the eyes. So I'm going to reach for the Fenty Beauty setting powder. Pick up some of it, shake the excess off. Then just going and press that in. Blend it nicely into the blush as well. I find this just perfects the under eyes, smooths them out nicely, makes everything look nice and flawless. I need an inner corner highlight for my eyes. I'm going to use my Maybelline Master Chrome Metallic Highlighter in Molten Gold. It's a gold highlighter. Just to make the inner corner of the eye pop. Alright, that's cute. I'm also going to take it down the bridge of my nose. I have not done this in a while, but I'm going to highlight my nose today. So on the tip, then I just go in with my sponge and make sure that that sinks in nicely. Nice. It's time to work on lips, and I think I'm going to go pink since we have this purpley theme going on. So I'm going to use my Nightmoth pencil from MAC. It's a deep plum colored lip pencil. For a lipstick, I'm going to use a Maybelline lipstick. This is the Maybelline, what is this one? The Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink in the color number 15 Lover. It looks very bright, but I'm going to blend it in. I'm going to top that off with a gloss. This is the Fenty Beauty Gloss Wand Cream in the shade Cupcakin. It's a light pink gloss. And I almost forgot to set my face, the Morphe Mattifying Continuous Setting Mist. Let that setting spray dry down and come back and wrap up. Alright guys, and that is the makeup look all complete. A nice, simple, full coverage matte makeup beat. Now, as I always like to mention the products that I absolutely love. Everything from Fenty Beauty, the Instant Retouch Primer, the Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. So good. As I said, when you first apply it, it looks like it's going to be too light. But just remember that that foundation oxidizes and it goes a little bit dark because it's the 440 is the perfect match for me. The Fenty Beauty setting powder as well, such a good one. And this eyeshadow palette by Nicka, cute, small, pretty shimmer shade on the lid. The matte blended out nicely and I like it. The lip ties in nicely with the eyes. So yeah, I am happy. Hope you guys like the makeup. If you do, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Drop me a comment. You can tell me any random thing about makeup that you want to tell me. Tell me some products that you are absolutely loving right now. Alright, also if you're not subscribed, I would love it if you subscribe and join us here in Makeup Land. I would absolutely love to have you here. So until next time, I want you to be fabulous. Have a fantastic week wherever you are. And I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.